This conference will now be recorded.
I see we have a dead one over here. 10.
The one in front. This push, huh?
All right, now we will call the meeting to order. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No, sorry. Not that I think, no.
If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Then made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Regular minutes from way back in August was our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Made and second, any other discussion?
Hold on 1 second. Terry wasn't here. Can he second the minutes being
No,
approved?
okay,
Can't.
start that again.
Sorry.
Sarah, you want to still approve it?
I'll make the motion.
And I will second it.
Okay, there
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
we go. Aye. And Terry has to abstain.
Abstain?
Motion's passed. All right, the monthly financial report. Kurt, anything to point out?
There was an expense, which will come in old business with the speakers from Main Street were purchased, which was an EDA purchase. There'll be more coming out because we gave a down payment of $6,400 to get them purchased, and then we'll give the rest once they need it. It won't fully fund the whole speakers, but it was a It was a thing the EDA approved before I got here.
And that, there it is. Okay, the 6184?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's all I have for.
Any questions?
Is this just September or is this August and September since we missed the September meeting?
I believe it's just September.
The next meeting have that to be accurate, to approve that one.
Get
The
August
August
in here.
one.
I'm wondering how quickly I can get it for you.
What did you say, Sarah?
Since we missed our September meeting, do we need to approve our August financials as well as our September financials?
I don't know. I guess I assumed this was up to date.
At some point, well, I mean, this would be up to date through that period. You just don't have all the numbers for August. The totals are correct on here. So is Kim still over?
So this is ending on September 30th.
Probably gonna print it in about 2 seconds.
We have to approve them probably separate anyway, don't we?
That's what I'm wondering.
All right, well, he's looking for that. Do you want to deal with this one or do you want to wait and do the August 1st?
Do this one.
I'll make a motion to approve the September financials.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the September financial report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed. Is she going to get it?
She doesn't, no, because she saved all the checks and everything. So there was nothing on that one. She waited for this one.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
then we're done.
No August one.
Leave it to Kim.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
that's
know
right.
she had a handle on it. She had an answer right away. She's always.
All right, moving on. Public hearings, none. Old business, the speakers. Do you have anything else, Kurt, you want to add other than?
No, this deal should be looking to be installed in November. That'll be something to look forward to on Main Street. Well, if everything goes as planned.
Were they able to fully fund them?
They must be, because they,
Went ahead with it?
yeah, they went and got the down payment and everything, as far as I know. They have, yeah. And they're gonna be looking for how to put them up will become the next topic.
Yes, that's my wife's.
The amount that we approved as a donation was how much?
10,000.
10,000, okay.
Well, there was some debate on that too. Was it up to 10,000? It was just less than 10,000 or was it, did we approve it at council? Or does it, because if it's 10,000 or more, it's gotta be approved at council, right? I think is what the bylaws say, or the,
I think that's why we did up to 10.
up to, I think it wasn't all of 10,000, I don't think.
At that point, we didn't know how much it was gonna be, correct?
Right. Because
And how
at
much
that time,
was
they
it?
were talking 20,000, weren't they?
I think they were looking at, I wanna say it was 16.
Yeah, it's more than the,
Originally it was like 12, and it came up to 16. I'm not sure what the final, I was just dealing with the EDA portion of it.
Okay. All right.
We'll just have to make note, or do you have to look back at minutes so that we don't overpay?
we have looked back at it.
We can see
That threshold if we didn't approve it at council. So, I don't know.
And I can't remember. There's too many things.
Okay, anything else on that? If not, we will move on to the new business with our presentation by Blue Duck.
Hi.
Welcome.
So where should I start? Am I just presenting what we're kind of thinking would happen in space?
What your idea is with
Okay.
space and where?
Perfect. Well, my name is Jennifer Lester. I am one of the owners of Blue Duck Kitchen in Rochester. My husband is from Zumbrota, Mazeppa area. So we are in Zumbrota quite frequently and at the golf course as well, because we're members out there. I think for myself personally and my business partner, Eric, there's something about a smaller town, especially the city of Zumbrota. I'm from Wabash Kellogg. There's just that feel of community, and we strive to be that in Rochester. We kind of do our own thing. We're a little bit off the beating track of everybody else, but we kind of mind our own. But yeah, we collaborate with a lot of different businesses. I guess throughout the last couple of years of being out at the golf course and starting to know Roxanne a little bit better, there's this sense of urgency to get a restaurant in Zumbrota. So it was kind of the last couple of years been like, I don't know what's going on quite yet, but now it's kind of coming full circle at us. So just a little bit of history of myself and Blue Duck. We've been open since 2016. We started with a concept that you see in larger cities where we are a linen tablecloths and glassware, but we didn't want to be a place that was stuffy. We wanted to make it more fun and vibrant and really use the kitchen as a sole focus. As you'll read in like my public purpose statement, the open style kitchen creates like the heart of your restaurant. And we're not trying to sugarcoat or hide anything. So we want that to be open, and that's kind of the concept that we have here too. So since 2016, we've done very well for ourselves. We did this whole entire project for Blue Duck Kitchen all on our own with no investors. And we've waited now 6 years for the right time to come up that we're ready to grow and move. So the space that we're looking at is the Wild Ginger building. To be underneath Roxanne's space. It's very long and narrow, all limestone walls, historic building again, which I'm drawn to historic buildings. Blue Duck is that. We just launched a restaurant in La Crosse as well. That's the same feel. But there's something about this space that, yes, when you go upstairs and see the storefront, that's beautiful as well. But there's something more that we want to kind of to draw. So that space, we just kind of envision this being more of a tavern feel, darker, using the limestone. It's very long and narrow, some high back booth seating, those types of things, but really kind of darken it up. Being from a small town, I think that you have to like tread lightly on where you're at and not propose a menu that people don't understand. Eric is the head chef. He's my business partner. He's all back of the house. And I can tell you that's probably one of the only chefs that I know that can adapt and pivot very quickly to our surroundings, where he's just kind of this mastermind that is behind the food scene. So our concept is to try to create a restaurant that would be a little bit more on the elevated comfort foods level. Just some examples would be like, bison meatloaf versus regular meatloaf, or bringing in Cornish hen versus chicken, or, stroganoff made of pork cheek, and trying to source things as locally as possible. We work a lot with different farmers in Rochester too, and that's kind of what our mojo is. We want to get local produce in, we want to get local meats in as much as we can. We do all realize the price of food these days, but again, to build those relationships and become stronger as a whole. So what we've the number of seats for Roxanne's building is approximately 67 to 70 seats. We know that number very well. The Blue Duck is probably about 65 seats, maybe 70. That would be including the bar. And then La Crosse has been the exact same thing. So we know this number well. I think we can bring a lot to the table of being a part of this community and helping, working together with other businesses to help grow the city. I know Roxanne has talked very in depth about Zumbrota becoming this destination town or destination city, which I love. I think it's really cool, the stuff that goes on at Crossings and the State Theater. It's just that final piece of there's not a restaurant open past 4, except for the Covered Bridge. And we are very good friends with Joey and their family and the Colton Beatles. We get it, but they also say the same thing. So I think that we could bring a lot to the table by offering, evening fare, American fare with our twist on it, making it family friendly. It's always been a huge focal point of mine. If you can get the families in and the parents with the children in, you can get anybody. So we want to be approachable, but we also want to bring a little elevated game too. want to have a destination or a spot for somebody to go to have a nice glass of wine, but approachable. You know, I see the foot traffic here on Saturdays when I've been in town shopping, and it's incredible. But we want to be a part of that. So, what am I missing, and where should I go in further? What do you want to know?
What kind of,
How do you plan to do that? I just wondered.
So financially, like what are we asking?
Yeah.
So our total build out costs right now, we're probably looking at about $352,000. Obviously we talked a little bit before everybody else got in here, but the largest expense, you know, with that for us is equipment and the gas hood. I think the gas hoods are running anywhere between 75 to 100,000 right now, so that is a larger expense. We're not expecting, we would love to do all of this with no investors, as many grants that we can get, and anything that we can't get in grants would be looking at some very low interest rates, loans. So, you know, I don't know if you guys want the whole 352. I'm looking for $350,000. We understand, I mean, we get it, but, you know, we're masterminds when it comes to this, so we'll be grateful for whatever we can get our hands on. So I don't know, I guess my brain kind of, you know, if we can get a substantial amount of, you know, up over 100, I don't know what that looks like. I can't give you a number, but total build out costs as of right now with equipment and decor is, you know, we've got construction costs, equipment costs, we've got it pretty much dialed in. So I feel pretty safe with that 352. And we know what we're getting ourselves into. So we understand it. And I'm assuming that we will have to take out a loan on this, but as much as we can cover ourselves with not having investors is the route that we like to go.
You think anything else, Brian?
no, I'm just kind of writing down here.
So what's your impact been in the communities? Like, what is your like staffing looks like? And how many people you employ?
Yeah.
Things like that.
For Blue Duck, we have about 26 people on our staff right now. We run a pretty tight ship, but we've grown over the years. So we run 3 servers, 2 bartenders, 1 server assistant, and then 1 front of the house manager or myself being there. Kitchen is usually a team of 4. And then we also have an event space at Blue Duck as well. So if we have events going on, that's another 1 to 2 people on that as well. We get this question a lot, especially coming out of COVID. We were able to excel through COVID. We knew what we had put into and where Blue Duck was at that point, that we were not going to close our doors. We weren't just going to sit back and collect the PPP. We wanted to work for it. And we did, and we busted our butts. And a lot of these things that we launched and put out there during COVID are things that will probably stick with us forever. Not everything's going to stay, but we bought a food truck. We designed TV dinners. We started doing pop-ups. We started doing, I mean, it was pretty endless. We built an outdoor patio. But we were able to retain all of our kitchen staff during that time. Servers were laid off, only helping out when we needed people for our different pop-ups that we were doing. So opening our doors back up again, we were able to keep all of our service staff. Nobody left us. We don't get staff turnaround as much as other places do. I think a lot of that has to do, 1, they make really good money there. I'm not gonna lie. But also 2, I've always been a firm believer that when you own your own business and do your thing, you should be present in your business. Eric and I are both very hands-on people. We'll wash dishes, we will seat people, we will run food, we will prep food, we will do anything that it takes in nature to make our business succeed. And I think that kind of sets a tone of who we are and what we bring to the table. So, you know, we're really good with numbers. Our labor costs are probably, right now we run a little higher in labor costs. We're probably about 32% just because we've developed this team over the last year, knowing that we were going to grow into something else, and we needed to secure those people and give them a job, knowing that we're going to grow. I would say typically the year prior, we'll probably run 27% labor costs, somewhere in that range. So we've dialed it in a lot. You know, and when we first opened up Blue Duck, I knew front of the house, Eric knew back of the house, but what does it take to run behind the scenes? And there were a lot of mistakes that were made. A lot of things that we had to learn the hard way and figure it out. But once we got past that first year and got into year 2, it was like, okay, we can learn this, we can do this, and we can reach out to people and ask for help. So that's why we've kind of sat and waited for 6 years. Like, let's just get Duck completely in the green, making good money. We have staff retention. We are training people. We're educating people, stuff like that. So staffing, I think, will be pretty good. We've got people that want to travel with us here. We have a team that we designed from Rochester that has traveled to La Crosse to help get all of our lacrosse people trained. And those 3 people are kind of our core people that would be coming here if this were to come into play. So we have a bar manager and a front of the house manager and a lead server. That would be our training program put into position there. So I feel pretty confident with that. It took us a while to find those right people. But I think we're in a good spot now, and they understand how fast we want to move because we're ready to go.
What kind of hours, what would your hours be here?
I think hours we're gonna have to kind of play with for a little bit. I envision we'll probably do it in stages, I would think. We'll start out evening hours, obviously. I see us starting out evening hours, and that's probably like 4 to 10. Saturdays and Sundays, I would like to hop on that train right away for brunches. I would like to get rolling on evening and brunches first and foremost. And maybe Saturday would be an all day, maybe that's a 10 to 10. And we're just open all day long because there's a lot of foot traffic around town. Sundays, I would probably say would be comfortable with like a 10 to 2 and be closed Sunday nights. During the week, I think we just have to get a feel for what does this town look like in the evenings? Can we draw traffic on Mondays? Can we draw traffic on Tuesdays? Can we offer different types of family nights, grab and go things, those types of things that we're not designed to eat out every single night of the week. And I don't expect families to be able to do that. But I think with the cross promoting between, the Twin Cities and what Roxanne talks about, the Rochester people, Orinoco, Pine Island, everybody who lives in this community, I think we can start to create a buzz on certain days of the week that are maybe date night like we do at the Blue Duck, or maybe it's kids night, family night, I don't know. But I would say, 4 to 10, and then Saturdays and Sundays being brunch, incorporated that. We hold on lunch until that. Is it a need? I'm not quite for sure. I know the restaurants downtown are open during lunch. So maybe we will be just an evening restaurant with offering brunches, kind of where our mind goes. We are all about holiday brunches, those types of things. If it's, Thanksgiving takeout and we're planning a whole entire meal for you and you're taking that home to take and bake, we're about that. We usually always run like Mother's Day, Easter, or Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day brunch. Holidays depends on what we're looking at around town here. At the Duck, we close on Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, but that could be different here. So evening is kind of our mojo on this one, I think.
Could you okay at lunch on Mondays? Because we don't have anything open on Mondays in town.
That's
We gotta go to Wanamingo to get lunch.
The Mexican restaurants open.
Are they? I forgot about them. Yes.
Quick trip.
Quick trip. Yeah.
Can we get a pizza at the news?
No, hey, gourmet.
We have a lot of people.
What about, is there any concerns with parking?
In a downtown area like that, typically you find parking, not in the evening for sure, but you find parking. I mean, there's street parking and you park wherever you can. There's a lot behind. Yep.
And there's the stairs down
From the back?
Third Street there.
Yeah, typically in a downtown area, there's not a requirement for parking.
Who owns the
Ordinance
lot
wise.
behind the city lot?
Roxanne owns a part of it where the patio would be, or, well, if you're gonna have a patio, there'd be a patio back there. And then Frederickson's own a chunk of it, and then the city owns the parking lot part of it, or most of the parking lot part of it.
Far, what would that be? South side.
Yeah, where you enter in, that's all city parking back there. Yeah, otherwise it's Frederickson's and Roxanne.
If you get this to go, are you anticipating the patio scene right away too, or just the restaurant itself?
I think the restaurant to start, I think we are still trying to figure out where the ventilation for the hood system would come out.
Oh,
Will that be on top of the building? We'll have to, I know our contractor has talked with Dave a little bit about where it's positioned at now and if it could come up the wall and come up the roof of the building, or if it needs to come out the back end, which would have to figure out if patio does happen back there, that'd have to all be enclosed, and then how loud is that band?
sure.
So I don't anticipate patio being immediate by any means.
What's your timeline?
I would love nothing more to be open by like end of spring, if not sooner. But I feel like end of spring gives us a good, 6-7 months. I think for the stuff that needs to be taken care of downstairs before it gets extremely cold, can be done before winter hits, and everything else can be worked on during winter. Yeah, I think our brain is, end of spring, early summer. Kind of get that hype going and stuff like that, so.
And you've got all the documentation put together that we asked for the
Yeah, pretty
the
much, the
application
best
and-
of my knowledge. I don't know if I should refill out another application. I've been adding to this over the months. I could try to make it look a little bit more neat. We don't have a proposed, we kind of have a proposed name for it. I don't know if we're going with that. We did start an LLC already, just to have it, just in case. But we want to make sure that anything that we open will always have some type of duck in it. So we have blue duck, and then Patu Azul and lacrosse is blue duck in Spanish. Here, we've kind of toyed along with the Duck Under Tavern. I don't know if it fits. I like the tavern feel of it. And it's underneath. So I don't know an official name. I'm going to list it as Duck Under Tavern for right now for you guys. That may change, but it's a good start. It's got a good feel, I think. We just kind of envision a lot of letting the lighting and the limestone walls kind of speak for itself, and incorporating a lot of cognac leathers and textures, and making, having 3 main focal points when you walk in, one being the kitchen, one being the bar, and then we really want to elevate that stage area, which I absolutely love. So that, this could be, I've listed in here too, but it could, be a really nice option for different types of events or live music, or, different places for the golf tournaments to come and they book out the space for the evening, or we host private parties in there, whatever may be the case. But I feel like it's large enough, but yet small enough that even if we're not having a busy night, that you wouldn't get lost in this ginormous space with, over 100 seats. So we're very mindful on that. And we've got, an interior decorator that does a lot of the build outs for us. She just helped us design Patu Azul, and we've been working on Pinterest and our good stuff through this spot in Zumbrota. So I think we're all kind of on that same page. But, yeah.
Well, it sounds interesting, very exciting. I think at this point, well, obviously, we haven't seen any of the application
Yep.
or any of that. Do we, at this point, set up a committee?
Well, we already did.
Oh, we did?
Yep.
Committee set up.
Committee set up, we just need the documentation, and the committee will typically go back and review the documentation and look and see what's available and what we can propose to do. I'll also cut CETA loose on grant opportunities. I don't know if you've looked into any other grant opportunities, things like that, but we can come up with a list of, possibilities and.
Yeah, if I can get a list, I know Roxanne has talked about there must be a rural grant for smaller towns. And then maybe the RISE grant. I think those are the two main ones I was told about.
Yep.
But yeah, we are all about that, so I can research those, those are the two that kind of stuck out in my head from what Roxanne had told me.
Yeah.
Do you guys know of anything?
I've got lists of possible grants.
Okay, that would be
shoot it
perfect.
over to you.
Yep, absolutely.
And CETA is in a lot of communities and they've done a lot of this type
Okay.
of stuff. So there's going to be expertise, what'd you do wherever
Yep.
and how'd you get there? And so we'll tap those expertise as well. But yeah, main thing is to get the application stuff in and we'll get that to the committee and then they can start doing their thing and we will do the very best we can to see what we can find for.
Yeah, absolutely.
For grants,
So once you get the applications and the paperwork into the city, then they can meet probably before our next meeting.
Mhm.
And then they will digest it and to come up with a recommendation to
Okay.
us. Is this, are you committed to this project regardless of our input or?
I think
It's kind of
so.
a pointed question, I
We
realize
haven't
it.
signed anything. Obviously, we would like to see something come from the city.
Yeah.
I think we are all in the same boat, knowing that Zumbrota needs a restaurant. So we haven't signed anything yet, just knowing that if we can get grants and kind of see what that number looks like for us to digest that before we sign anything,
Right.
would be preferred. But,
I guess the reason for my question was, as far as your timeline, our timeline is we're a monthly meeting.
Yep.
So if our committee meets within the next 2 weeks, we don't meet for another month. So if you're looking for something from us to help make your
Yep.
decision, that's our timeline.
Yep.
So
gotcha.
I don't want to.
Nope, and that's just
Tell you
fine. Roxanne's kind of on hold with us too, and I think they want to help invest money into their building as well. So I think she's kind of waiting to see what the city is telling me, to see what she can ask for, as well on her side. Because there are things that will stay with that building forever, such as the hood system, the HVAC system, all the stuff that we're putting in. So we're kind of looking to who's covering what are we accountable for?
Mhm.
But, yeah, we can kind of go whenever. It's not a sense of urgency. Yes, we would like to get something rolling, but I've already prolonged this for a couple months, so I'm okay if we wait another month.
Okay. All right, good. Well, thank you very much. Is there
Yes.
anything else for Jennifer? Well, thanks for your time
Okay.
and thanks for your interest. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Should I leave some of this here?
You can leave it.
Okay.
Actually, leave it right there. I can come get it after the meeting.
Okay.
So.
I'm gonna step out there so you guys can continue doing your thing, and I'll
Okay.
just bring this back in as soon as I'm. Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
It's nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Next, B, facade improvements.
Yeah, this was a question just to put out to you guys. I've gotten inquiries, and there used to be a kind of a facade program, I believe, in Zumbrota, and I know Goodhue has one where they'll match. So if you pay $5,000 to have a new window put in your business, the city will give them $2,500, like give them half, up to $5,000. And I believe Zumbrota used to have that, and I don't know if that's something that the EDA wants to revamp or just kind of stick to revolving loan. And so I just kind of put it out there as a question, what you think.
We did that when we got the Rochester sales tax dollars.
Okay.
That's the only time I believe that we've done it.
Yeah, that's what Ken said too.
And then we apply for, what is it? The Southeastern Minnesota Housing, Central.
Oh, sure, okay.
They do, they'll pick a town and do that. We've had that in the past as
Okay.
well, for businesses only.
Okay, right.
But that's the only time we've ever We have
Okay.
never put in city funds for that.
So it's never been, okay.
Mm-mm.
Because I've been inquired, you can see the list of businesses I put on here that just, you know, many businesses need help, and that was one way that I heard of, and so I put it as a question, something to look into or not.
Try to apply for that,
Okay,
them to come for that grant.
Yep. okay. Thank you.
I don't know if anyone wants to start some sort of program.
Well, I had kind of talked about if we could squeeze any dollars out to put back to EDA for something like that, or programming was called, whether it's a facade thing or whether it's whatever else. That's a kind of a seed of concept that has been done in different areas that I thought, that sounds pretty good, but we weren't able to squeeze anything out in the 2023 budget. So as far as that goes, you know, unless we can find some other dollars somewhere or you want to use something else, but I think, you know, to have Kirk kind of keep looking at options and programs and bringing things back, I think it's a good thing.
Do you ever anticipate the Rochester sales tax thing happening again?
I don't know.
They just,
I,
out of the goodness of their hearts,
No, well,
bunch
no,
of
it
money
was
at us? It's like, I mean, we're still paying Rochester sales tax.
to approve it, right, for the legislature to approve that. My understanding is they had to commit to that, to getting some dollars back to the other communities.
yeah, so that was the kind of, unless they do it again,
Right.
the one-time thing, yeah. That was my understanding.
Yep.
We were just happy to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And our portion of the Rochester sales tax money, is that gone?
Yeah, we spent it.
The portion that was meant to be spent on that, I think is, I don't know if it's all gone or
It's-
not.
I think it's all gone for that.
Yes, but
We
we do
have-
have a chunk of money for industrial park.
Infrastructure.
200,000,
Yep,
right?
yep, and that's pretty important,
Yeah.
pretty important dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And that's earmarked for that specifically.
yes, yep, and that's something that we need to get going at some point sooner than later.
So in other words, I guess to sum it up, we're not in a position where we can offer any funds at this point if they're kind of on their own.
Yeah,
Unless
outside
we-
the revolving loan fund, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Anything else on that? Okay, Midwest Livestock Systems.
Yeah, I got a call this week, so I just thought I'd let you know that they were inquiring about the land just north of their current spot, across Highway 52 there. They asked if it was for sale. It is, and it's EDA land. That's the extent of what we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
So they haven't asked to buy it or what it costs or anything, but I just thought I'd let the EDA know that there's interest in that land.
The EDA owns it. What was the purpose of the purchase, or what's the plan for?
Well, whatever the
Sell
EDA, yeah.
It's
Would
just
like to
part,
sell
it's
it.
part of the overall structure as far as the development on that side of town, right?
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that the last lot?
Nope, there's one more, but it's the one with the easement through it to get down to the water filtration business.
Is there one in front of the business? Is that what the?
That's the one right in front, yeah. As you go in, that's an easement for that driveway that goes right through it. So that's a little tougher lot to sell. Has
If
to be
it's-
unique.
Yeah, so if it's assessed at 184.3, is that what the market value is then too?
No, I just got that from the tax information on GIS.
But is this the lot that is kind of sloped?
It's on the other side. So if you're looking at Midwest
Right
livestock, it's
Midwest
right to the right.
Yeah.
Yep, so, yeah, there probably is some slope. I suppose it slopes into Tim Mack's land from there.
Should we figure out how much the market value is?
Well, I was going to after if they were showing interest in buying it. They just called me this week, or excuse me, last week.
Just a general inquiry so far. No stated interest to buy it yet, but
So when they're stated their interest, did they ask what it was worth or what it was cost? They really
They
didn't.
just want to know if it was for sale, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I guess it would be prudent, I think, at this point to figure out what a fair market value would be.
Okay.
And then maybe get back to them and say, hey, it's assessed at 2 million, we'll give it to you for $1 million.
Wouldn't that be
Sounds like
nice?
a Meyer offer
And
edition
there,
to me.
bam, we've got money to spend on.
That's right.
Oops, maybe I
Then we
should
might have some
have.
facade
Is there a
dollars too.
realtor that EDA would use, a specific realtor, or?
Commercial.
I don't think we've ever used a realtor, have we? We've always, everything's
No,
been.
so Dylan was a realtor. He had a realtor's license.
Oh, he
so
did?
He was one that did all that kind of stuff for us, but,
But
Maybe
before
ask,
Dylan?
What's that?
Before
CETA,
Dylan,
the
though?
guy that owns CETA.
Yeah, I
what's his
don't
name?
know.
Ron.
Ron, he would probably know the
Ask
right one to
Ron.
ask.
Yeah,
There we
we
go.
will come up with a way to get a value on that.
I'll do that.
that land.
Is the land attached right to their property, straight north along the highway?
No,
Um,
20-something street.
We should pull it up here, but well, there's nobody on there. Should I pull up the?
Could pull it up.
Well, it's this lot right here on 22nd Street.
Yeah, it's right on.
So there's Midwest Livestock.
Yes.
It's this one here.
Got it.
It's
Right there,
right on
you
this,
see
right here.
Yeah, I think so. I was just looking at this.
Which one is it? Is it this one or this one?
It's this one right here.
Oh, behind it.
Well, the road. Oh, I'm sorry. That one right there.
It is this one.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the end of the
the end.
road.
And Midwest Livestock? Okay.
You know, they make dairy, cattle.
We have Midwest
Yeah, then
Fabrication,
we own
Midwest
that.
Livestock, and Midwest Dental.
Oh,
The
right
one
there.
above it too, that 550, but we have to leave that road easement through there.
So it's not very big.
Those are the only two lots, I think, that we have.
So which one, they're looking at the one at the bottom?
Yeah.
This one.
How many acres is that?
Yeah. 2. There you
2.82. So you're looking for 500,000 an acre? Or you say 2 million, million?
No. Well, that's if I owned it.
Buy it up and sell it then.
But they, it's a greenhouse.
You started it. Oh.
Yeah, I'll ask Ron. That's good. Good point.
Yep, we will come up with a value on that, just so we got it. I think it is advertised out in certain areas, we've got realtor businesses that will call and ask what's available, or if they're still available, and usually the answer is yes. But yeah, it'd be nice to sell another one.
If we, anything else on that? Any other questions, concerns? You brought up the fact about additional development land. Do we need to get moving on that? Or get the EDA or get the city, or are you doing something?
Yeah, so industrial park area that we've been kind of focusing on. Is this area, well, this is part of the city already. This is Eric Moore's.
Okay.
Eric owns all of this. Jamie Westside bought this, and this is north. So we're running that water looping project right through here, right down this, right there. So we're gonna have water through all that land. We're doing that water looping project with mostly federal dollars, federal earmark dollars. It wasn't a whole lot less to run it down the right of way. So we thought, well, let's run it through this land to kind of make it more, entice some development land. But we would envision an industrial park at some point here. Of course, if the owner wants to move forward with something like that. I've talked with him a lot because there was a business from Goodyear that was looking to relocate. And I tried my best to get that business out here. Didn't happen, but this is kind of the area. And then there's also this area back here that Bruni owns, the rock company, the Cora Properties. And they're willing to talk to us. But we have to go to Decorah to talk to them. So Kurt and I are going to plan a trip down to Decorah to talk to them about if they would be interested and if there was a developer or if the city were to buy some, in an industrial park, a lot of times a city needs to buy a certain amount of land, put a road in, get a couple of parcels ready to go to bring industrial in. It's different for housing because, well, you know how that works. But to get industrial, someone in there, it needs to be ready to go. So that would be the vision at some point in one of those two areas out there to purchase some land, put in at least part of a road, services there, get a couple ready to go. And once they're ready, then a lot of times the developer will come along and say, hey, maybe we'll develop the rest of this. And so, but yeah, that's.
So there is stuff going on in the back.
It's been going on since I walked in here,
Yeah.
2.5 years or two.
Okay.
So yeah, we're trying, it just moves so slow. And then you got the issue of the, no overpass right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a deterrent for anybody wanting to go out there a lot of times. So there's talk of an overpass at some point here, and then there's talk of a interchange, with on and off ramps up at 7.
Yeah.
Up there, and then there'd be connected the road back here. So when that happens, all that happens, then that's very valuable out there.
But we've been talking about that, for a long time to get it set up so that we were really lucky to get that water looping money and
Yes.
get it set up so when all this starts happening,
Right.
it's ready to go.
Yep, and we've got Munira. She hasn't been here yet, has she? We should get her to at least one of these. But she is our new EDA person that's doing the 2 days now that Dylan was doing. Dylan's still involved in the background because it's his department, the planning department of CETA now. But anyway, Munira, she's here 2 days a week, and one of the things she's looking at is all the peripheral landowners around town. And she's going to make contact just to say, hey, you're close to town. If a developer comes along at some point, you want to give me your contact information if you're interested in listening. So kind of laying that groundwork of if something comes up, we'll have some names and numbers that, look out this direction or so. So there's always a thought towards just what you said, towards the industrial park, towards where future expansion might go and that type of thing.
Okay, thank you. Reports, Q3 development and permit reports.
Yeah, you can,
Brian?
feel free to just peruse those. You can see Q3 is going to be, obviously Q3 is going to have more because it's going to be summertime compared to Q2, but you can see the different permits issued, the amount of money. 5 new homes, single family homes were built. Yeah, just information for your viewing.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to check to see how all this compares to past years. I think we're above most years still.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a downturn here on those permits though pretty quick. We're starting to see it in other areas with the interest rates and the interest rates mostly.
As far as construction?
As far as construction, yep. Yeah, get materials back down, now there's interest rate to deal with. Even though it's, 7% now? What was your calculation? It was at a 20-year average was like 11?
So if you go back to 1972 to 2022, the average is 9.25. And the reason that is because you've got those years when you had 16, 17, 18.5%. So it skews. But you got to, so the historical perspective, I think, is important. The problem is the young people who are building houses don't understand that interest rates used to be 18%. So that's the conversation we just had.
Yeah.
I was quoted a 30-year rate today at 7.25%, and I said no.
I remember, and that was a great rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly my point. It is a great rate. People are just used to 2.5%, 3.5%, 4%.
They just refinanced our house at 2.5.
Just-
a year ago.
That's as
Crazy.
equally a historical anomaly as the 18%.
Yeah.
Smart move, perfect,
Unbelievable.
awesome, but
Yeah.
it's not normal.
Right.
And that's what people are forgetting.
Mhm.
Here, end of the sermon.
Yes. No, I use that a lot
Says
now.
the guy who's about to close on a,
New house.
no, is, let the record show it is not the most expensive house being built in Zumbrota right now. No way. Schleeps have that honor. Bring it up from you.
Nice
It's
house.
a beautiful house.
The one that Jake just did, their landscaping. You run
It's gorgeous.
a yard full of sod, 2 semis full of sod.
Wow.
That's the most expensive house, you think, in Zumbrota,
Being built right now.
even without a basement?
Yeah, because it's got in-floor heat. You can add 30 grand to your house just for doing that. Rich, maybe I just say that to make myself feel better.
You should.
No,
No, that's,
it's a beautiful home.
it is. I haven't been inside
Video.
since they closed it up, but it's really nice on the outside.
The one we're building is gorgeous.
All right, chubby cheek. What is it, cheek?
Chubby chic.
Chubby Chic, just to give you a heads up, they've moved. They used to be located right next to Dwell, and now they've moved down across from the Goose, which is gonna bring a lot of foot traffic down to that building. They've already got product outside and people are coming around, and it'll be very good for downtown. Good.
Really good landlord in that building.
Yeah, real good.
You have the address wrong, but
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't care, but if
I got it.
want to know it's not right. 224.
224 South Main Street. And then Paul's from Dwell is taking over that old spot, so it won't sit empty. So there'll be business there too.
I've heard he's gonna have like Christmas store in there, like
All year?
all year.
Yeah.
Really?
But I haven't talked to him personally, but that's what I heard.
Nice job with his displays.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
He's
Gosh,
got good
yeah.
taste.
He does. He does. All
You
right.
could decorate the new house from that.
Yeah. Okay, the RDT tour.
Yeah, the Regional Development Tour by CETA came through Zumbrota. It started in Zumbrota and ended in Zumbrota. It was very well received by people on the bus. We set up a Bloody Mary bar, so when they stopped at the covered bridge, they got themselves a Bloody Mary or a mimosa, which I think was probably one of the reasons why it was such a well received in Zumbrota. But we were very well. We had Kim MC, the city of Zumbrota, and Dylan kind of told the bus driver where to turn. And then we ended, so then they went from Zumbrota, they went to Lake City, then came back through Goodhue, and then they had a little get together at the covered bridge, speaking to people. We got a really nice video out of it from CETA, which is posted on our Facebook page about why Zumbrota is great. Yeah, it was overall very, very well received, very well done. Zumbrota was the biggest contributor, thanks to DFA and thanks to Steve Johnson, Zumbrota Ford. Yeah, I think we looked very good compared to the other three communities, and yeah, very well received. So it was very good.
Todd did a good job in the video.
It was a good video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to watch it.
Yeah, they had, well, did you ever were you able to get a list of who was on the bus
I never did. No.
with, So I was trying to get a list of who was on the bus with their business names, because there were developers and bankers and,
Politicians.
but yes, politicians, so it was a good mix. I got a chance to talk to few couple developers out there at the covered bridge, and so it was good, really good. Good to have them end in Zumbrota too for the cocktail hour and small talk and yeah, so we had the mayor out there, myself, Sarah
Well,
and
we
Tina
kind of
were
were
both
late
there.
because you guys got there a little earlier than we thought.
Yeah, it was
so,
supposed to
yeah.
get done at like
But
5:30, but gonna get done at
Yeah.
3:34.
so we were a little
Yeah.
on the tail end of it.
People
but-
were on the bus.
I want to say there
50?
was 50 spots. Was there 50? We'll say 50.
Talk loud.
It's the third one.
Good. Anything else? So you're gonna get in contact with the committee, get rolling on the Blue Duck thing? Yep. Get them going. One other point of interest, people might want to start, we're gonna have another opening again on EDA, so if you can come up with names of potential new candidates, so we can get somebody in line instead of waiting till the January meeting and try to catch up.
Okay.
I don't know that we necessarily have to put an ad in the paper yet, but definitely starting next month.
Okay.
If you got people that you think would be interested or good candidates,
I think you should find your own replacement.
I could. Jake's busy. All right, thank you all. Meeting's adjourned.
So sassy.
Nothing